It was something like 15 minutes drive, and all this drive, and just imagine how Lian and my daughters running to me. When I arrived to the IDF, psychologist coming to me and said to me, your mom and your sister is waiting for you. And I said to her, I want to see Lian and the girls first. And she said, your mother and your sister will tell you. And of course, you don't need to say anything anymore. I understood that they've been murdered.
Eli Sharabi was kidnapped on October 7th, and he was held underground for 490 days, where he was physically, mentally abused, tortured, starved, and beaten. Upon his release, he heard the heartbreaking news about his wife, 2 daughters, and brother. In this episode, Eli gives details on what actually happened to him in Gaza, seeing other captives, and why he always puts his trust in Hashem, in God. Eli is one of the most inspiring people I have ever met. Make sure to watch this entire episode. At the end, we talk about something we are doing for Eli, and it's very special. This episode is in memory of Miriam Sarah Bas Yaakov Moshe, Shimon David Ben Yaakov Shleima, and Eli's wife, Liana, his daughters, Yahel and Noya, and his brother, Yossi. This episode is powered by Bitbean, Wheels to Lease, PZ Deals, Hachzik, and Woodmont College. This episode is different. We recorded this at Young Israel of Woodmere. Over 1,000 people came, and there were multiple standing ovations for Eli, and not a dry eye in the crowd. Am Yisrael Chai. Here we go. Let's dive right in. Could you tell us what your life was like before October 7th?
Oh, we were a very happy family in Kibbutz Be'eri. I arrived to Kibbutz Be'eri when I was 16 years old from Tel Aviv. I fed up from buses and concrete. I wanted fields, and I wanted to raise children in a kibbutz. And I met Lian. She was a volunteer from England in the kibbutz. And we fell in love, and we had 2 daughters, Noya and Yahel, and raised them in beautiful place, peaceful. They had lots of friends. We had great times. We were a very happy family. Lian was a dentist assistant, and I was a CFO of the kibbutz and companies outside of the kibbutz. We had quiet, normal life. Especially something like 3 months before October 7th, Yahel just finished the year of bar mitzvah, and the family arrived from England and Canada. Of course, the Israeli family we have, and we all been together, and it was great time. After that, we've been in Thailand for 2 weeks, and it was amazing trip, all connections, laughs, and great activities there. We arrived back to Israel, and it was Lian and Noya's birthday on the 1st of 3rd of October. A lot of friends at home, and we had a great time, and it was too good to be true, and it was like heaven for us until it became hell on October 7th.
Could you take us through what happened with you on October 7th?
We just woke up from a lot of red alarm, and Lian's application of this red, all the alarms, was just got crazy, and we didn't understand why it's happening. Usually it's happening because things that happened, and we were sure it's going to finish another 10, 15 minutes. But after something like 15, 20 minutes, we got a message from the Tzevet Tzachi, from this team that protect the kibbutz, and says it's a suspicious of terrorist in the kibbutz. Even then, I told Lian that it probably finished in half an hour, and probably it's nothing. An hour, 2 hours later, all the WhatsApp groups from the kibbutz, the kids, and start to write, somebody shot mom, somebody shot dad, our house setting fire, and it wasn't easy at all. And we start to understand they arrived to our neighbor, and me and Lian, in that time, we made a decision. We're not going to fight with them. Of course, we didn't have any weapon, but we said we're not going to fight with them just to protect the girls. We presume that I'm going to be kidnapped, but they will be all right because the British passport will protect them. And around 11:15, they arrived to our house. 10 terrorists opened the door of the safe room. Our dog barked, and they got panicked and started to shoot. We jumped on the girls, and after 10 seconds they stopped, and we showed them like British passport, like as we planned. And they asked to collect our phones, and it all got calm, and 2 of them grabbed me, and another 2 of them took the girls to the kitchen, and they asked from Lian to get dressed because we jumped from the bed to the safe room. And after 2 or 3 minutes, the leader there said to them to take me away from there, outside, and I understood I'm going to be kidnapped now. It was last minute, last time I've seen my daughters, and showed them I'll be back. And I probably would say something else if I knew it's the last time. And that's it. They took me away.
When they were taking you, were you able to see your surroundings? Did they block you from being able to see?
They grabbed me out from the house, and the first thing I've seen, it's my friend's house getting burned. It was Yonat and Or. And I understood later that after my release that he was murdered 5 minutes before me, and Yonat as well. And they grabbed me, so like 200 meters, they dragged me to the fence. All the way I've seen something like 100 or 250 terrorists coming in and out from all the houses. And I understood that probably our defense on the kibbutz, and probably the army as well, that nobody exists anymore because they've done whatever they want. And they put me into the car, one of the kibbutz cars that they stole. And since that minute, I said, Shema Israel. Since then, I did it every day. And from then, they took some like 200 meters later, some like 5 minutes later, they put someone, the car stopped, and they put someone above me. And I didn't know who's that. I didn't know. 15, 20 minutes driving to Gaza Strip. I understood we are still in the central of Gaza, not to the south, not up north. I understood I'm in the center of Gaza. We arrived to the first stop. It was a mosque. The minute we stopped, they grabbed me out from the car, and the mob of civilians that was there with kids start to shout, and they start to hit me with their shoes, with their hands. And after a minute, they succeed to get me into the mosque, ask us to take off our clothes. And then I've seen this guy that they put on me was Thailand worker, that from our fields. His name was Kon. And I spoke with them, of course, Arabic, that I know. And since then, I was with Kon for 52 days in a house in Gaza with a family that the father is from Hamas, but it was their father, mother, and 3 kids. And they've been with us 52 days.
Could you describe to us what happened during those 52 days? Did they give you anything to do? Did you just sit there?
First of all, in the first 3 days, we've been, they tied our hands from behind the back and legs with ropes that tore our flesh. And it was agony. I remember in these 3 days, I just fainted from time to time for 2 or 3 hours, wake up, asking for water. And after these 3 days, another 2 people from Hamas arrived to this house to guard us. They start to take care of us, of food, and they took away the ropes, but still put a chain to my legs with locks. And we've been like that 52 days, me and Kon. But the main fear for us was first of all, the bombs, the Israeli bombs from the IDF. And the second fear that they were really, really afraid of, that someone from outside will hear us and get into the house and then probably kill us.
And while you were tied up, did they have you do tasks there? Did they just make you lay there?
We just play. Con didn't understand why they're not letting go, and I start to draw him the war. I asked from them paper and pen, and I start to draw him a map of Israel and Gaza and the missiles, and start to explain to him what's really happening. But we just, sitting there, just thinking about the families, a little bit of talking with the hands, me and the Con, talking with them, Arabic, start to understand what's happening outside, what happened in Israel on October 7, really. They gave us a lot of information, but not correct information. And that's it, just waiting for our release.
And what happened after those 52 days?
After 49 days, they said to us it's an agreement for the women and children. And I was very happy about that. And I was sure my turn will come soon. But in the 51st day, Almog Sarusi arrived to our house for 24 hours. Because a day later, we both been moved to the tunnels. They asked for us to start to walk with them. We walked in the middle of Gaza with hats. That was really, really scary walk for 20 minutes. People around, if they noticed that we're not local, they would probably kill us. And after these 20 minutes, we arrived to a mosque. From there to like a secret door. And the door was open in the ground, and they start to say to us to go down, to climb down. And in the beginning, we refused because it looked like the perfect grave, and we didn't want to die like that. And they aimed that they're going to shoot us if we not climb down. And that was another time I chose life for death, because I promised my daughters I'll be back. So I had no choice.
Go down the tunnels. It's very dark. It's hard to breathe. What else is the experience like?
Yes, we climbed down this ladder. It was like 25 meters, and then another stairs for another 20 meters. So we've been around 40 to 50 meters underground. You can't see anything, just the torch they have on their heads. We're afraid that we're not going to breathe, we'll not be able to breathe. And after something like 10 minutes walk inside the tunnels, we've seen the light, and makes us more calm. And we waited there, and they said, wait for a few minutes. And something like after 5 minutes later, Hirsch Goldberg and Ori Danino arrived as well. And 10 minutes later, Elia Cohen, Or Levi, and Alon Noel arrived as well. We've been 7 hostages, Israeli hostages, and it was the first time I felt like belonging and somebody to talk with, Hebrew again. After 52 days, I didn't. And it was good. It was relief for me that I'm not alone. Gave us hope that we can survive that.
It's interesting because you, I guess, were, compared to the other ages there, more of a father figure, I guess, down there.
Yes, I was the oldest there. All the other 6 arrived from the Nova Festival. Most of them were very young, and I was like their father there. Almog, Hirsch, and Ori were a bit wounded. And 3 days after we've been together, someone of the terrorists arrived one morning and said to them, come on, you're going home. And we were very jealous about it, for them, and we wanted to go as well. But still, we said to them, we were very happy for them. And we said to them what to say to our parents. And we were very happy they're going to say to our parents that we are good. And they've seen us. And we were sure the ceasefire will continue and it will be our turn in the next few days. But a day later, it's the war start again. In that moment, we understand it's going to be for a long time.
When you were with them, were each of you giving each other chizuk and strength? Like, what were you talking about?
Yes. Well, you start to know each other, start to talk, to start to tell things about your family, your friends, where you been raised, and you know everything about them. And we become very good friends, and we start our routine. In the tunnels, we had no choice. You have to have routine. So every day you wake up, you say Birkot HaShachar and Shema Yisrael, and laughing and talking. And if you eat good, you train and to move yourself, because the chain is on your legs all the time, 24/7. But still, you're acting like normal person. You look for the things that give you a little bit of humanity. And actually, and waiting for Friday. Usually on Friday, they gave us a little bit more food. And we waited because we said Kiddush. And I said Shet Chayil to my mom and to my sisters and my wife. And we kept every time like a quarter of bread, a pita bread, just to say Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And all this gave us a lot of faith and remind us our families, and it gave us a lot of strength, and it was very good for us.
We're getting to a powerful part of this episode with Eli, but first, on a lighter note, I want to introduce you to some really great people. For over 35 years, Wheels to Lease has been making the car leasing experience simple, honest, and stress-free. Not pushy sales tactics, no hidden fees, no last-minute surprises, just clear upfront pricing, top-notch service delivered straight to your door. Whether you're buying, financing, or leasing new or used, they'll get you the best deal on any make, any model, anytime. Their white glove service means you never have to step into a showroom. Just tell them what you need and they'll handle the rest, from helping you pick the right car to delivering it right into your driveway. They've built their reputation on integrity, fairness, and making customers happy, and it shows. Give them a call at 718-871-8715. Of course, you can email them at inspire@wheelslease.com or visit wheelslease.com/inspire. I've used them. They're efficient, well-priced, and honestly, just good people. Reach out and they'll take care of you. And before we jump back in, I want to take a moment to tell you about something important. And I've been thinking lately about how lucky I feel to do the work that actually fits who I am. It uses the strengths Hashem gave me, and it supports my family, and it feels right. And I really want that for every single one of you listening. If you're in a place where you're trying to figure out your next step or how to build a career that works long-term, I want you to look into the BS in computer programming from Woodmont College. This is a fully online, frum-friendly degree that teaches you real practical skills. I'm talking about things like software development, coding, IT, app building, and cybersecurity. The tech field is growing fast, and it offers real opportunities for people who want to build a solid, reliable parnasa. Plus, with this degree, you'll learn all the newest evolving technologies and how to use AI to get ahead. You can start anytime, even next week. You can transfer in a lot of credits to finish sooner. It's much more affordable than most programs, and there are scholarships available. If you're supporting it from family, this is the kind of career that can make all the difference. It's not just about passion, it's about practicality. This is a real income potential here, and this isn't a gamble. It's a smart investment in your future. If this sounds like something that could work for you or someone you know, check out the link in the show notes. It might be the right next move. Now, throughout this episode, you hear Eli describe how he endured the unimaginable. And you'll be asking yourself, how does someone survive what Hashem throws at them and come out stronger? I honestly don't know. But one thing I do know is that building our character is one of the most important pursuits in life. And there's a tool out there that's helping people do just that. It's called Hachzik. This concept is powerful in its simplicity. Every day, Hachzik guides you through a classic Muster Sefer with a short 4 to 8 minute share from some of the best Magidei share in the world. It's not live, so you can listen anytime on the train, in your car, during a lunch break, and the app makes it incredibly easy. Open it, press play, and you're in. That is it. If you just try it once, you'll be hooked. No more excuses, no more complicated setup, just real powerful growth in minutes a day, whatever point in the day you want. And what's brilliant about it is you could do this at any time, anywhere. Right now, they're about to begin Pele Yoetz, and you can even get a free sefer to follow along by signing up at hachzik.com/order form. We're going to have a link in the show notes. This isn't just about learning, it's about becoming the person you're meant to be. Rav Naftali Amsterdam said, "On a day I learn Musar, my thoughts, words, and actions are of completely different quality. Join the thousands, including myself, already growing with Hachzik. It will change your life, and honestly, it's so good." Now back to Eli's story. What was your conversations with Hashem like? What were you telling him?
We asked every day that our family is all right and that it will be a miracle and it's really going to finish and we want to release and come back to our families and we hope that everybody is all right. We just ask from him to give us strength to survive this hell. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all because day by day you say, why it's not happening? And it's not easy to keep this faith. But we used to say to each other that the faith it's easy when everything is good, but it's making very challenging when the time is bad. And this is the time. And we have to keep our faith in God. And finally, this day will arrive, and it's arrived.
Before then, we all saw the photos of when you got released, and how much weight did you lose?
In October 7, 2023, I was 70 kilo. And the day I was released on February 8, 25, I was 44 kilo.
And you don't have to answer this if you don't feel comfortable. What other, clearly they starved you. What other forms of torture did they do to you?
It was a lot of tortures. It was violence. It was humiliation, most of it. It was psychology, terrorism, that tell us every day that the Israeli government and our families forgot us. And they are going to slaughtering us and we're not going to come back to our families. It was one day that one of the captors got a phone call that his house was bombed and some of his family been injured. And he was furious and he threw the phone to the ground and started to run towards us. And I was the first one in the room that he met. And he started to hit me. I couldn't move because my legs chained. And he started to hit me in my body, started to kick my ribs. I succeeded to crawl towards Alon that protect me with his body. And after 30 seconds of hitting me, he moved to Or, kicked him twice and went out from our room. I probably broke a few ribs because I couldn't breathe for something like a month. I couldn't stand on my own from the mattress. And it was a really difficult time. It was really humiliating, of course. In July of 2024, they arrived to us one day and they said, from now on, you're going to eat 1 meal a day. Until then, we ate twice, once in the morning, once in the evening. And they said, our prisoners are suffering in Israel, so from now on, you're going to suffer. Most of it was a bowl of pasta a day. So think about like Yom Kippur, you eat a lot of food, fasting for 24 hours and then eat again. So we fast every day just from bowl of pasta for 180 days, 6 months like that. And if they had a pita bread, they gave us, each one of us, 1.5 pita. And that was good because we could keep a half pita for the evening. and like pass the night without crying. 3 weeks after they started to do that, we tried to change it, and we said we need to change. We need to do something to change our situation because we start to feel that we are getting weak. I took a razor, cut my eyebrow just for the blood, and asked to go to the bathroom and pretend that I faint. They got scared because I'm the oldest there, and they got worried about me. And we understood they need us alive. If they want their prisoners, they need us alive. And they will do everything for keeping us alive. It helped for 1 week. They gave us another half a pita each one. And it was very, very good for us. We felt much better, but it held just a week. And after that, they gave us 1.5 pita again, every day, 24 hours. Sometimes we fast more than 30 hours until the food arrived.
Did you ever think about giving up?
No way. I said to them all the time, to the kids, to my kids, you can cry, you can break, you never lose your faith, because the minute for the next agreement will arrive, and we need to be alive for this moment. And we don't have the privilege to giving up, because our family waiting for us, and we are sure they are fighting for us. We have to do it for them.
I've interviewed other hostages before, and everyone has a very different experience. Sometimes they've had some form of access to like a TV down there, or maybe a newspaper. Did you have any outside source of what was going on?
We didn't have anything, not watching television, not listening to the radio, not newspapers for sure. All the information we had is because we listened to them. They spoke with each other, sometimes to us. Just from this, we like built this picture what's happening outside. And when Israel talking now in Qatar or in Egypt, dealing with Hamas there, and every time it was like warming in these conversations, we could feel on them, like their mood changed. They really, really waited for this ceasefire, because they were very sad and frustrating from the situation that they believed after October 7, it will be a war for a month or two, and it's going to finish. Almost every day they cried. We heard them crying in the night. Why it's not stopped, that they want to see their families, and their situation was critical, and they understand that.
We've heard so much about the Hamas terrorists, but you've had that first person encounter with them, and I'm sure different people are different people. Like, how would you describe them? Are they intelligent? Are they evil as we see? Are they following order? Like, who are they?
We divided them for 2 groups. Usually, it's for young and old. The young were they're all very ignorant. They don't know much about Israelis or Jews. Their brainwash was, they all was brainwashed, really. They all say the same sentences. They've been educated to hate us. That's what, when we speak with them, you understand that. The young was very cruel. They humiliated us. And the old one was much better to be with. And we usually ask for more food from the old one. And if we got anything, it was from them, from the older.
Could you take us through the day that you found out that you're gonna be released?
Yes. We start to understand that something happening because we heard them in a good mood. We understood that Trump was elected. The change is going to be on January 25. and we understood the agreement is happening. Someone, high commander from Hamas, arrived to our tunnel, started to speak with us, and said the agreement is on the way. And he saw the chains on our legs, and he ordered them to take it off, and he ordered them to make us more food because he saw how much we are thin and not healthy. It was something like 10 days before our release. He arrived on February 1st. It was Saturday, with a laptop. And that day he said to me and Or that we are going to be released in February 8th, and to Elia Cohen that is going to be released on March 1st. To Alon, he said, "You are going to release on March 8th, but it's the second leg." And it's not any agreement about the second leg yet. And Alon was hysterical about that. He was really afraid from the moment he will stay on his own. And the moment you've waited for 491 days, and imagine that 100 times, that is going to be the most happy moment for you, become a very complicated moment because Alon and his situation. This commander asked me to come to identify myself. He showed me 33 pictures on his laptop. And of course, I identify myself, and after 2 seconds, and identify Ohad Ben-Ami and Tal Shoam, that are from Be'eri as well. And I saw the girls, the soldiers, and I saw the old men in this, and he said 25 are alive and 8 dead from these 33. And for a second, I've seen a baby, ginger baby, and I asked him what this baby is doing here, because we were sure that in the first ceasefire, all the mothers and kids been released. And his answer was, this baby was born in captivity. He didn't really answer why the other kid is there and their mom. And of course, it was Shiri and Ariel and Kfir. And we presume they are dead, because no way they are in life and still there. 3 days later, they said to us we are moving, me and Or. We are going to other place to get prepared to our release. There we met Ohad Ben-Ami. It was a very good meeting for me and him, because we used to work together for 10 years. We know each other very well. And Ohad used to watch television once a week when he was the place he was. And he knew a lot of things. And he told us about all the Hamas leaders been killed, and Nasrallah has been killed, and Statu gave us a lot of information, and gave us this information about Hirsch, Ori and Almog, that been murdered in other tunnel. We were in shock, me and Or, because we were sure they are home. And it was not easy at all. And 2 days before the release, February 6th, the Hamas leader in this tunnel showed me a picture of Yossi, my brother. And he said to me happily that he was kidnapped as well, and he was murdered. I didn't really believe him, because I don't believe any word of them they're saying to us. And after he gone, Ohad took me to the side and said to me that Yossi is dead. He saw the film of him and Itai Svirsky that been murdered as well. And Noa Gamani was with them, and she was released. That was a very difficult moment for me, difficult 2 days until I released, to know my brother is not alive anymore. But still, I just waited for the moment I'll see Lian and Noya and Yahel and my mom and my sisters. So I'll hold on to that.
The most powerful part of the podcast is coming up. But first, I was at BitBean the other day, and they showed me a system they built for a rehab facility dealing with intense HIPAA regulations and layers of compliance. Honestly, it was wild. I didn't see the actual things I'm not allowed to look at, obviously, but what used to be a mess of forms, approvals, and manual tracking was now a clean, simple backend anyone could use. That's what BitBean does. They take the complicated parts of your business, the regulations, the paperwork, the stuff that slows you down, and turns it into something intuitive, something that just works. Whether it's healthcare, real estate, finance, logistics, they custom build software to streamline your process so you can grow, scale, and make more money without the daily chaos. If your backend is holding you back, reach out to BitBean. It might be the smartest move you make all year. Bitbean.com. Go ahead and reach out. Now, if you ever scroll for hours trying to find a gift, a deal, or just something useful and come up empty, PZ Deals solves that. It's the app that finds what you didn't even know you needed. Quality carry-on that doesn't fall apart. Pace-off vacuum that actually works. A Shabbos lamp your kids won't break. Even flight deals that save you hundreds. It's updated constantly. No fluff, no ads, just solid, reliable finds that sell out fast. And you're busy. This saves you time, money, and trust. Download the PZ Deals app. It's free, it's genius, and you'll wonder how you ever shopped without it. PZ Deals, never pay full price again. Now, we were so touched by Eli's story, and we see how we can really use the help. We are sharing with you a charity campaign for Eli. Yes, 100% of the money will go to him to rebuild his life and facilitate some incredible projects in memory of his wife, daughters, and brother. You can donate on charity.com/Sharabi. The goal is $1 million. Open your hearts, whether you can give $18,000, $1,000, $100, $18, $2. Help Eli live a better life. Now back to this week's episode.
The actual day of release, could you describe what occurred?
They woke us up Saturday, February 8th. They woke us up at 5 o'clock in the morning and they said, come on, we move. 15 minutes later, we've been in the open of the tunnel. We want to move to the car and from there to this ceremony. But we couldn't because the Israeli airplane was above us for 2 hours. And 2 hours we waited there and still hide. And every minute of this moment just looked like forever for us. But 7 o'clock in the morning, they put us in the cars, took us to the ceremony area. We've done some 3 hours of rehearsals of questions and answer they made ahead. And we practice what they asked us and what they want us to answer in this ceremony. And one of the questions there was, what do you want to say to your wife and your daughters that waiting for you in Israel, that show how much they're cruel, because of course they know they've been murdered. And after the ceremony, this humiliating ceremony finished, they moved us to the Red Cross. We got into the car, Ohad first, me second, and Or behind me. And the minute that the car was closed, I started to cry. It was maybe the third or fourth time in all these 16 months I'm crying. All the times before it was belonged to I cried because they told me my daughters and my wife, they saw them on television and they're fighting for me. And it was very emotional noticed from them. The day I was released, I cried because probably all the surviving mode just went, from me, and I could cry. When I was crying, Ohad asked the Red Cross where they've been for 491 days, why they're not arrived to visit us and give us food and see if we're okay and give us medicines. And their answer was that Hamas didn't let them to see us. Well, we start to move from this area to the Israeli, to the IDF. And it was something like 15 minutes drive, and all this drive, and just imagine how Lian and my daughters running to me. When I arrived to the IDF, psychologist coming to me and said to me, your mom and your sister is waiting for you. And I said to her, I want to see Lian and the girls first. And she said, your mother and your sister will tell you. And of course, you don't need to say anything anymore. I understood that they've been murdered. I was crying for 5 minutes. And then I said to her, okay, I want to see my mom and my sister, because I knew that I need to choose now, that if I let the grief bury me, or I can find a way to continue. I always choose to continue and see the next step. I wanted to see my family because I want to hug them, and that they give me the strength and be there for me. And that was very important for me. That's it.
I just can't imagine going through 491 days and looking for your freedom, looking for your family, and then finding out that they're no longer here. You explained it, but like, how do you actually move on and continue?
I didn't choose to be kidnapped, and I didn't choose for what's happening to us on October 7th. But I'll always choose how to react and what to hold on and how to stay human being when the conditions is extreme and you don't have any food. And for me, all life is choosing. And I choose life. I choose to see the light. I cannot make anything that bring back Lian's and bring my daughters back to me. I cannot do anything. But but I'm alive, and I really, really love life. I don't want to live in a sadness. I can't see anything good to be sad, or I don't get any strength from this darkness and the grief and the loss of my wife and my daughters and my brother will be always with me, but beside of life, not instead of life. And that's what I see.
If you could go back and say goodbye to your wife and your daughters, what would you say?
I would say sorry that I couldn't protect them on October 7th. And maybe if I would know this is the result, I would probably fight, and I apologize that I couldn't protect them. And that's what I'm saying to Lian's parents on February 8th, when the day I released. I phoned them and I apologized that I couldn't protect their daughter and their granddaughters. And they give me a lot of strength. And they are with me since then. And I'm very lucky. I'm a lucky guy. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be free. I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have great family. My mom, my brother, my sisters, my parents-in-law, my brothers-in-law. They are all great for me. I have great friends, and all of them stopped their life and fighting for me. And I don't have the privilege to be all day in bed, crying or sad. After all they've done for me and what Am Israel have done for all the hostages. It's amazing me. And the Jewish communities. I've been in New York, I've been in London, I've been in Mexico City. And we've seen what all this Jewish community is doing for Am Israel, how they're united with us, and it's moving. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you very much.
So shortly after you were released, you're going to Washington, D.C. to go to the White House. Can you tell us about that experience?
After I released from the hospital, 10 days after my release from captivity, I understood that there was delegation to see Trump and talk with him. And since then, I didn't stop to fight for bring back my brother's body that will have a grave to cry on. And I've promised Alon Noel that I'll fight for him, that he will be reunited with his family. And all the other 53 hostages now, I'm fighting since then. And Trump was the first stop. And after that, it was Keir Starmer in England. And after that, it was in the UN and many things in Israel. And I'm doing all I can with all of Israel for bringing them back home.
The transition for you it's crazy. You know, before October 7th, you have your family and you have your life and your job, and then you go through that torture for 491 days, and then come out and, you know, your brother's gone, your wife's gone, your daughters are gone, and you're sort of this celebrity. The entire world, the entire Jewish world, celebrity is not the right word, but you're this person that everyone knows and everyone's been thinking about and davening and doing whatever they can to get you back. What's that like mentally for you to go through such a shift like that?
Well, it's not easy to be recognized everywhere. I used to be a very private person, but the life meaning I find through captivity. I promised my daughter on October 7 I'll be back. And after that, I promised Kon, the Thailand worker, that I'll help him to come back to his family in Thailand. And 2 months later, I met Alon Noel and 50 meters underground. And I said to him, I'll be for him all day in captivity. And the day I left him, I said to him, I'll fight for him to reunite with his family. And I understood my meanings in life, that before that I was to be a CFO. So for me, the meaning is not my academic degrees anymore, and not the achievement in work, and not in numbers. It's just to be for people, to listen, to be there for them. And my mission now is to be there to be their voice of the hostages that's still there. But I don't care about if I'm famous or not. It's nothing for me.
I know you're working on a few projects, and I know that you just came out with your book in Hebrew, and you're working on an English book. What's the next step for you?
Just to tell my story, and we want that nobody forget the hostages. And until the 55 that remain there, hostages that remain in Gaza Strip, until they're not coming back to Israel, the Israelis and the Jewish people cannot heal from this war and from this trauma. So I'll do everything that nobody forget them.
There's, a few evils going on. There's the evil of Hamas and what they're doing. And then there's this evil of the ignorance of the people, a lot of people in the media, a lot of people in America, just around the world, who are just saying that, Hamas aren't the bad guys and they don't care about the hostages. Is there anything to tell those kinds of people?
It's not easy to explain people that want to hate you And this anti-Semitism is horrible, and they ignore from the facts, and it's a problem. For me, the most important things was not really meet Keir Starmer or Trump. It was to go to UN, to a place that most of them not really pro-Israeli, and to talk there for 20 minutes and talk about facts. Show them pictures that they will see me, that I'm not picture anymore. I'm a human being that's alive and survived this hell. And that was very important for me.
If you could speak to yourself 20 years ago and give yourself some form of advice, what would you tell yourself?
I would probably, now after I know that, not to live in Barry. Probably to live in London. That was quite true. Yeah.
For someone who's watching this and they themselves, we all have challenges in life. I don't think anyone in this room or anyone watching could compare to the challenges that you've gone through. But what advice would you give to someone who's trying to work on their emunah and their betachon, their faith and their trust in God?
I haven't been, I'm coming from a house that was Kiddush, but I'm not religious. But the minute I was kidnapped, until the minute I was released, my faith in God was great. And I felt a lot of miracles there. And I felt hashgacha pratit. And I said to myself, that's, you look for any source that give you strength and give you the belief that you can survive this hell. And thanks God, Baruch Hashem, Azar li Amon, helped me a lot. Thank you.
Before we say the final thank you to you, I just want to tell everyone that we started a campaign for you, and we're gonna have a link for it, charity.com/Sharabi. We're gonna try to raise as much money as we can so you could, get back on your feet. And I know you have a lot of projects and ideas to be in the memory of Yossi and your wife and your daughters. So, I feel so touched by this, and I know everyone here does, and everyone watching this. So we're gonna have that link there. Eli, to go through what you went through and to just fall off the face of the earth kind of, I think, would make sense. And the fact that you're here and you're telling over your story to us, to the world, it, personally gives me the most inspiration ever. And we've been, this is so surreal for us because we've been thinking of you and all the hostages for so long. And the fact that you're here and we could talk to you and you could share what happened and how you're going to continue, it really makes us say thank you, Hashem. So another round of applause for Eli. Thank you so much for doing this. Ooh, if you made it this far in this episode, please comment "Am Yisrael Chai" or a message for Eli. He will be reading your comments, and I promise you every bit of love he appreciates. If you have not subscribed to our podcast, hit the subscribe button. We have so much more coming your way. Now, before I get to my final words, I'd like to first thank our sponsors, Wheels Elise, Bipin, Hachzik, Woodmont College, and PZ Deals. A special thank you to Miriam Schreiber from the wonderful Legacy Tours for arranging this interview. And thanks to Eli's sister-in-law, Hadass, and to Sharon, and to Annabelle, and to Rav Shai Shachter, and Rabbi Axelrod, and the wonderful Young Israel of Woodmere for helping make this podcast possible, and all the congregants and all the people who came to a live event. Also, special thank you to charity.com, who did not charge to set up this campaign. They are literally a business and forgoed any fee in order that Eli can get as much as possible. Please open your heart and donate to Eli at charity.com/charity. He will use this money to rebuild his life. And whenever you're watching this, you can donate. We are trying to collect $1 million for him in a week. He's been through the worst. He now deserves the best. Now, here's my personal takeaway from Eli. Eli Sharabi doesn't feel like someone from our time. He feels like someone out of Tanakh, a man who endured the worst kinds of darkness, 490 days of torture and captivity, only to emerge and learn that his wife and 2 daughters and his brother were murdered. The most unthinkable cruelty. He had every reason to retreat, to disappear, to live the rest of his life in silence. But he didn't. Instead, he speaks, he advocates, he fights to bring his brother's body home, he works to save the remaining hostages, and he refuses to give up. Not on life, not on people, and not on Hashem. That's what a hero is. A hero isn't someone who has it easy. A hero is someone who has every reason to stop believing and chooses to keep going anyway. Eli Sharabi is the kind of hero. The kind we read about in Sfarim, the kind we're lucky to see with our own eyes. Let his story remind us, no matter how dark it gets, we can choose light, we can choose faith, and we can choose to keep going. Remember, inspiration's everywhere. L'chaim.
Living L'chaim.